We believe there's more creativity than ever before. So I always look at the basics. You look at a company, you look at their fundamentals, you look at their growth, you look at the customers they have, and then you look at the need of the product that they have at market within the framework of the customer relationships that they have. And if those things are intact, then you have a very stable business, not because that business has artificial intelligence, but because that business is solving a commercial problem.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, you're probably hearing in the news, CNBC, all of the financial news shows are all abuzz about AI. And it's getting to the point where there's probably too many AIs out there, too many companies chasing the AI rainbow. But the real money is in the cleanup. Gartner says that agenetic AI is already oversaturated. Meta plans to fully automate ad creation this coming year. Google is collapsing creative data and execution into one design layer. And the question now isn't who builds AI, it's who controls the layer that decides everything. And today we've got Jeremy Barnett, CEO, co-founder of Rad Intel, here to break down the coming consolidation wave and the new AI power stack that's about to reorder the entire marketing industry, PR, communications in general. Jeremy, it's great to have you on the show. So tell us here, when does the AI crash happen? Is it happening now? And does NVIDIA have anything to worry about?
Well, I think there's a lot of chatter. I mean, NVIDIA has the numbers to back up the valuation, I think, is first and foremost. And if you think about artificial intelligence at its whole, we're seeing massive adoption, which means our feeds are flooded with all of this stuff. Some of it's great, some of it's not so great. But if you think about it, humans are ultimately driving all of this adoption. So we think about this era that we're in is it's the era of human creativity, and the right human practitioners using AI technology can actually become significantly better at the thing that they're trying to accomplish. Now, there's commercial reasons like doing a better job creating content. There's also personal reasons like how do I deal with my 15-year-old son who's having issues with his performance coach for whatever sport he plays. So it's really interesting how us humans are deciding to use artificial intelligence, but everything always boils back to the basics, and it's been the same basics for considerable periods of time with respect to why companies are or are not successful. Traction, sustainable growth, revenue that isn't just sustainable, but having customers that want and need your product because they depend on your product. That's ultimately what rules the day.
Right. So I think what got everyone confused is the AI has been around a long time, but now it's out there for the general public. Yeah, you hear about all these data centers being opened up and all the electricity required, and that tends to distract from the actual issue, which is the use case and how many AIs do you need? It really is reminiscent of the AI, of the .com boom in the late 90s, and we all know where that wound up. We going to see a similar thing here?
Well, the use cases are very similar, but there's also fundamental differences. If you think about when cloud computing became the flavor of the week, LLMs are very similar from an infrastructure perspective. You have all of this infrastructure that's being built on top of these LLMs, but everything always boils down to the very fundamental basics of what is the commercial issue that you're trying to solve. If you're a company that's using artificial intelligence, whether you're adopting it internally to make your customers' lives better, or whether you're adopting it internally because you want to attract more customers. But at the end of the day, what is the thing that you're doing with the artificial intelligence? There has to be a commercial use case. Having the word AI in your business means absolutely nothing unless there's some sort of value that the artificial intelligence is creating. In the context of my company, RAD, we leave the pen in the hand of the practitioner. In other words, people that use our product to make them better at the job that they do. We believe there's more creativity than ever before. So I always look at the basics. You look at a company, you look at their fundamentals, you look at their growth, you look at the customers they have, and then you look at the need of the product that they have at market within the framework of the customer relationships that they have. And if those things are intact, then you have a very stable business, not because that business has artificial intelligence, but because that business is solving a commercial problem.
Right. Okay. So AI if I could just paraphrase you, AI for AI's sake isn't really where it's at. It's solutions based effectively. Do I have that right?
I would 100% agree with you, Kerry, and I would even take it one step further. The real edge in artificial intelligence is how us humans not just decide to adopt it, but how we decide to apply it. You put a really powerful set of AI tools in the hand of an unbelievably talented creative practitioner. Maybe he's a designer or maybe she's a director, but you put these tools in their hands and they become even better at the thing that they do by a 10x multiple. Whereas if you put these same exact tools in the hands of somebody who's performing at a more, we'll call it mediocre level, they're not all of a sudden going to become this really high performing human being, right? AI doesn't make you better. It's the creativity of the humans that are using the artificial intelligence that makes them better at the thing that they're doing. So I always say garbage in, garbage out, excellence in, even more excellence out.
I love that concept, and I couldn't agree with you more. So where do you think the biggest trend is heading for the next year, the next few years?
Well, we always think about these things. We're looking at this era of creativity as it's an opportunity to get even more authentic. So the idea of understanding authenticity at its core and the things that will mobilize your target customers to take action, or even the things that will motivate your teenager to do something because you know it's good for them. So the idea of creating this environment where people are using technology in order to make not just their professional, but personal lives better, that's where we see everything going. So it's not just about a story anymore or a vision anymore. It's about practical traction and performance. Investors are shifting focus from looking at companies that have potential to now they're demanding companies have real traction. At RAD, we look at basic fundamentals. You know, we have an infrastructure here built that we look at companies and we buy companies. And when we buy companies, we don't look at, do they have AI? We don't look at, well, they could be this. We're looking at the core fundamentals of this business. Are they EBITDA positive? Do they have great leadership? Will our artificial intelligence and technology solution take their business to the next level? In other words, will it make material impacts to the P&L and balance sheet? And if we can answer all of these questions confidently, then we know this is a target we should look at. Well, the same thing holds true when you look at investing and looking at different areas where you're going to potentially lay some modest bets into. You have to just look at the core fundamentals. Leadership. I have an investor who always tells me, I always bet on the jockey. Critical. Good leadership, it starts and ends with good leadership. Above and beyond that, does the business have basic fundamentals? In other words, not just this big vision and AI in their term in their marketing materials, but are they actually solving a problem that their customers are willing to pay for? And this is true across all industries: healthcare, medical treatments, brick and mortar businesses. It always boils down to the basic brick and mortar rules associated with leadership, a product that people want to buy, and positive EBITDA, a company that's really moving towards something that investors can back for the long term.
All right. Well, it makes a lot of sense. And obviously, AI for AI's sake is not going to get you where you want to be. So question is, how do you invest in this? How do you identify the emerging companies who are really going to go somewhere?
Well, there's lots of different ways to look at it. I think, we are in the information age. So one of the things AI has enabled us to do is we are able to be our own practitioners of what we do and what we don't do. So, if you're looking at alternative assets, there's certainly really simple ways to research leadership and look at their track record. That's the first thing I always do when we're looking at anything is I want to understand who the people are and what they've done and what successes they've had. Above and beyond that, you look at the basic fundamentals. And, in our case, RAD is a Reg A plus regulated company. So everything we do has to be filed with the SEC. So there's a deep amount of due diligence in our offering before we actually go to our investor community. So it's something that we're really proud of. And it also helps us separate from all of the noise that's out there. So there's two different types of investment classes. You have your public securities, then you have your alternative sets, right? Public securities, it's public information. And we've all seen these really great public companies fold at one point. So just because a company's doesn't necessarily mean they've answered all of the things that need to be answered. They still need to produce results. In private markets, you have to look at companies that actually have not just the fundamentals on or appearance of fundamentals. You got to be able to look at reports. You got to be able to look at audited financials. You got to be able to look at a track record and history before you decide to put your hard-earned dollars into anything. So I would strongly urge any investor that's looking at anything. I mean, look, you're never going to be perfect with every decision you make. Otherwise, we'd all be multi-millionaires. You can make some educated bets in different areas based off of track record, based off of history, and based off of reputable organizations giving their stamp of approval. An SEC regulated Reg A plus is a really good stamp of approval if you're looking at private if you're looking at private investment classes, because you have to have due diligence and audited financials in order to list in that kind of way.
For sure. No, I totally get what you're saying. So obviously you've done a lot of deals over the years. Can you share with us the best deal you ever made?
Well, the best deal I ever made. Oh, well, this is going to be. I'm going to force my co-founder to watch this. So what do you trouble? Yeah. What do you do when you're a startup figuring out product market fit at the beginning of COVID? In our case, we figured out a way to merge. We acquired another artificial intelligence company, and they were struggling with product market fit. It just so happens that what we were really good at and what they were really good at was two negatives equaling a positive there. So the best move that we ever made was acquiring a company by the name of Atomic Reach, which now the former CEO of that company is my co-founder and president, and we've adopted that product to be the current product that we have in market, which is powering not just our internal growth and adoption, but our entire strategic buyout strategy, which is acquiring new businesses. So in RAD's context, that was the best decision. At the time, everybody that knew me was doing sanity checks with me because, two early stage companies don't necessarily equal a positive. This isn't a typical math equation, right? Now looking back on it, by far and away the best decision that we've made. And there's lots of different reasons why, but a lot of times as a singular founder in a business, the ability to have another co-founder in the business that can share in the burden of all of the issues and challenges that you go through when you're growing your company. I can't put a dollar value on that. Aside from that, having the technology and the investment into technology that came with that company as a part of our overall offering stack today has really been a massive differentiation for us, and has really been not only a differentiation, but the reason why we've gotten such good adoption with the brands that matter.
All right. I love it. And it's a very disciplined and focused approach towards AI, which I think is completely lacking in the market. Jeremy, where's the best place to find you, connect with you on the web?
Well, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Jeremy Barnett, CEO of Rad Intel, real easy. We also have a portal for our investor community. We have around 11,000 investors today, ranging from Fidelity Ventures and Adobe to, folks that, work over at Google and Meta and Amazon. So you can go over to our investment page and find us. And if you want to reach out to me, I make a point of being available to our entire community of supporters. Our community is really one of the main reasons why we've been able to do a lot of the things that we do at market today. And we're really proud of that.
All right. Excellent. Hey, if you've got any questions for Jeremy or myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. You can find our Substack at kerrylutz.com. Jeremy, appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you again soon.
Kerry, take care of yourself. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network. Now more than ever.